three models that are different. Each of these cooperative organizations could be considered platforms for the creation of new businesses and new jobs. So this is a different kind of entrepreneurship. It's entrepreneurship, but it is as a group. So the number one, we're going to introduce Sara Dependri of Trentino in northern Italy. It is a complex of farming cooperatives, construction cooperatives, retail cooperatives, population of about 500,000. 95% of the people are in one kind of cooperative or another. Now I'll invite Sara to come and speak.
Good day, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Is it working? No. I have to come here.
Yeah, but
okay.
I think you get on the side, I think.
Okay, very well. Thank you very much. No.
Earlier.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so how do we turn it on? To me.
What did I move?
I have no idea. Let's see.
Yes.
Practical things.
Because this isn't on. Hello? Oops. Return to main, spike,
I will do my better with the voice.
projector, monitor. Yes. Oh, here we go. No.
Or a ghost.
Ghost.
Hello? All off and exit. Yeah, I don't know. It says it's on.
No!
That's Sophie.
I have no idea.
Okay.
We just sit here because everyone can see.
Yeah. Okay, vas-y.
Good day, everybody. And I want to thank, first of all, Greg for this invitation. It is a pleasure to be here and speak about the Trentino cooperative movement. I'm not a member or a practitioner in cooperatives in Trentino, but I'm a researcher at a research foundation that is called Euricse. It is an European research foundation on cooperative and social enterprises. And we are working together with Cooperative in Italy, in Trentino, and wherever, also in other European and international countries, in order to help them to use the scientific tools to be applied to the study of cooperatives in order to find the best solution to their problems, on to use of our some of our instruments to better know their functioning and their role in economy and in society. And I'm not the author of this title, but Greg decided for me because he knows very well the Trentino cooperative movement, and so he appreciates a lot our way of working. And so it is a pleasure to present it as a model of working and co-working. By starting from Italy and from some numbers, the cooperative movement is very diffused in Italy, and we can see that 44,000 are the cooperative working today in Italy, and also there we have a huge number of consortia. That means second or third level organizations that create some networks in local communities and among all our cooperatives. The number when looking to the turnover are quite impressive, considering also the relevance and the impact on our appeal. And what I want to describe and show you is the diffusion of our cooperatives in whatever sector of activity. We have each time of cooperative forms working in Italy and in Trentino, as I'm going to explain you. And also, when looking to the division and the presence of cooperative in the different parts of Italy, we have a widespread number of cooperatives wherever, but the presence is quite huge when looking to the northeast regions where Trentino is located, and also their impact in terms of turnover is really high. And so the biggest cooperatives are located in the northeast of Italy. When we look in particular to the situation in Trentino, we have quite a high number of cooperatives, especially when consider the population. The Trento province is quite small. In fact, we have only 500,000 inhabitants. And the most interesting thing, as Greg already said, is that all our families, more or less, are involved as members in a cooperative. And so by excluding the youngest people, the percentage of people, of citizens being involved in a cooperative is really high. And also cooperatives has a great impact in terms of turnover when compared with other organizational forms. For example, in the agricultural sector, we find that 95% of the production is managed by cooperatives, by agricultural cooperatives. And we look to the credit sector, we have that credit cooperatives are also managing a huge part, the 60% more or less, of the total deposits and investments. Consumer cooperatives are also very diffused, and they are especially diffused in the valleys, because Trentino, as you can look from the map here, is a mountain region, and so and it is organized in valleys. And in each valley we have a lot of municipalities, and the presence of our consumer cooperatives is really diffused, and they cover all the municipalities. But they are able also to operate in Trento, which is the only big town in the Trentino province. When we look to the impact of this organization, we can say that they have to develop a lot of economies, and a lot of they have a huge economic impact, not only in terms of direct turnover and sales that they produce for local markets, but also as indirect and induced impact. That means that they are able to collect and to move our other resources at local level from local organizations, and so that they support directly and indirectly also employment, for example, because we have a huge presence of people working for cooperatives or for organizations directly related to the cooperative production. And so we can look also to the history of this movement by saying that we started to have the first cooperatives more than 1 century ago, thanks to the presence of a priest, Don Lorenzo Guetti. I hope so. I have the water. And the diffusion of the movement started from the end of the 19th century, and it started to develop in. Oh, okay, thank you. I start with this. Perfect. Okay. And so they diffused in very few years. As an important movement, because the situation was characterized by marginalization, isolation of a lot of valleys and municipalities, and they gave themselves an important role and also. Okay.
Sorry for the interruption.
To organize themselves also in umbrella organizations, and so they founded at local level a foundation at the beginning of the 19th century, and this foundation and this federation helped them to support and to supply new services and to support their activity. But it was also the first type of networking among these organizations. So we have described the traits of this movement, but we have some questions about the motivations that explains their resilience. Today, the number of Trentino cooperatives is more than 500, and they are resilient organizations. They continue to increase in number, in size, and in the number of employees also. And also during the economic crisis of the last years, they were able to ensure employment and to continue to grow and to give resources to the local communities. And so, as scientists and people interested in this movement, we are asking why, what are the reasons? And we can explain these reasons by also approaching it to the theory, to the economic theory or different theories. First of all, we can say that a cooperative must be a bottom-up phenomenon. From our experiences, when the public administration, for example, imposed the creation of new form of organizing citizenship interest in entrepreneurial nature, the organization usually has a lower percentage of opportunity to increase and to develop a long time. And instead, when citizens organize themselves, it is the best way for surviving also a long time. And when, for example, when we look at the regulation, we can see that in Italy and also in Trentino, the law comes later than the creation of cooperatives and social enterprises. And so, for example, the first regulation of cooperatives come only in the middle of the last century, when cooperatives were born a lot of years before. And the same is for social cooperatives that are in Italy the new form recognized in 1991 by a specific law, but they were born more or less at the end of the 70s. And so the law comes only a lot of years later. And this explains the need of citizens to find themselves the solutions to solve some problems. The regulation obviously helps a lot the diffusion of these cooperatives. And in fact, after the regulation, we have the increase of the number and the size of this organization, because the regulation also helps financing, helps to move and create a better ecosystem, we can say, of these cooperatives. But people makes them, not the public administration. When we look to the pure economic point of view, and we follow the economic approach, we say that cooperatives are born to answer to marginalization, to economic problems, to local monopolies, to asymmetric information, bad quality of products. And in fact, also in Trentino, we experienced this. And cooperatives were born at the beginning mainly to answer these local problems: marginalization, isolation, poor quality of goods. The economy was very fragile in Trentino in this year. And we have that rural subsistence was characterized in Trentino. And so, at the beginning, cooperatives were covering this role. But what is today? Can we say that the role of cooperatives today is exactly the same? Are they solving local problems, marginalization, disadvantages? Well, when we look to the evolution, today really we can say that some types of marginalization are present. And so people in the valleys are not well covered in terms of their needs of services or presence of for-profit firms. And so cooperatives are continually to support local economies, especially in the valleys. But we can also see the role of cooperatives as those organizations avoiding the risk of depopulation. Some years ago, it happens that many people, as maybe in some of the countries and municipalities here, were going to the city and abandoned the valleys. And instead, cooperatives help both in this phase and today to call people and to renew the local and economic activities. When we look further to the actual crisis, they are the real answer to unemployment. And Trentino is the Italian region with the lowest unemployment in Italy, due to also the presence of cooperatives that continues to cover this role. When we follow the third approach, I'm an expert in behavioral economics, quite strange branch of economics. 2 minuti, okay, I will try. We look that values and principles are very widespread, were very widespread at the beginning, and were the support for the development of cooperatives and for increasing social capital. Trentino is the region with the highest level of social capital in Italy, and all things seem therefore related. And also today, those values help in answering the problem of the society. And so the new types of marginalization, of disadvantages, we need values, trust, we need believing in the role that cooperative may have. And when people lose their values, we have to recover them. The risk for our cooperatives about 20 years ago was to be managed in a too economic and for-profit way in order to achieve higher economic results and outcomes. But they are renewing today their values and principles because they have to work with the community and not for the community. They have to renew the empowerment of citizens. And finally, and I will stop here, cooperatives are innovative institutions. And so we have to say that innovation comes in the legal form, in the governance structure, and so they innovate at the beginning for those reasons. But today, the new challenges are those of facing with new forms of innovation. For example, we are studying a new law for the creation of community cooperatives. All people working together in some municipalities in order to answer to different needs, problems, welfare production, and other services. And the main point is that for achieving better results and a higher economic impact and social impact, we need to work together not only as members, but also as organizations. We have to remember the seventh principle of cooperatives that ask for being more related to each other for increasing the social impact. And networking activity are helping our cooperatives especially to develop this point. It does not mean that they are a unique model of success. Many of our cooperatives are also facing with problems in their management in the future. We are facing with new challenges, but working together and especially working with other organizational forms, with the public administration, increasing these relations can make some cooperatives work in some districts. We call our local system a cooperative district because they are working together. They do not compete, but they cooperate for increasing their social impact and our well-being. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Greg, for the presentation, and congratulations, Sara, for your sharing your experience with Trentino. And I want to, it's an honor for me to have the opportunity to share the Quebec cooperative experience. And I hope that my presentation will be a source of, of inspiration for further discussion in your own organizations. Briefly, the structure of my presentation, I will emphasize on the point 3 to 6. And I'm stepping to rapidly to some data about the importance of cooperative in the province of Quebec. As you can see, the first private employer is Desjardins, which is, for the Canadian people, probably you know Desjardins, which is a financial cooperative. And the fifth private employer is La Coopérative Fédérée, which is the agricultural co-op network in the province. Here are some interesting numbers also. The number of cooperatives in the province of Quebec is 3,300 co-ops. The number of jobs is 92,000. And an interesting point is that the number of members of co-ops is 8.8 million out of 7.8 million people. So everybody is not member of a co-op, but a lot of people like I am, are members of 2, 3, 4, 5 co-ops. So you can have your banking with Desjardins, your insurance with Promutuel. You can use home care services for your parents. You can buy your computer to a student co-op. And during the weekend, you can go skiing in a co-op ski resort. So you can use co-ops in many ways. The structure of the cooperative organization, our apex organization is le Conseil québécois de la coopération et de la mutualité, which is our apex organization, federating 14 sector-based federation and 3 large co-ops. The sectors are finance sector, insurance. It could be agricultural sector, forestry, home care services, funeral sector, food store, home care, housing, etc. I'm used to say that we have 5 main players in the province in the cooperative ecosystem. Regional Development Cooperative, which I will present with the next slide. The federations, which I introduced with the previous slide. The Department of Economy and Innovation and Exportation is the ministry responsible for the co-ops, creating the legal framework and providing studies on co-ops, which are useful. Investissement Québec is a governmental institution providing guarantees for loans, mostly, for business in general and more specifically for co-ops, and providing specific tools also for the financing of co-ops. And I introduced with the former slide the Conseil québécois de la coopération et de la mutualité, which is a crossroad for all the co-op organizations in the province, advocacy for national issues and government negotiations. And I said that I will introduce the Regional Development Cooperative Network. A Regional Development Cooperative federates cooperative from all sectors of activity within a given region. And there are 11 Regional Development Cooperatives in the province of Quebec, covering 17 regions, because some Regional Development Cooperatives cover more than one region. Okay, I'm stepping to the next point. The Regional Development Cooperative has 3 main objectives, and the first is to help promoters of cooperative in their starting up efforts. This is the most important objective, the most important role of a regional development cooperative. So the regional development cooperative hires professionals who are dedicated to work with people, with group of people at the helm of a new co-op. And the regional development cooperative in a whole succeeds well in this field. For example, in Canada, out of all the co-ops created in 1 year, 60% come from the province of Quebec, when the population of the province of Quebec represents 23% of the whole population of Canada. You can see that we succeed quite well. The second objective is to bring cooperatives together. The cooperatives member of a regional development cooperative wants to meet one another, and the regional development cooperative provides opportunities for those meetings. Those meetings could be a youth cooperators week, could be a conference with a co-op manager, it could be information about accounting standards, it could be a cooperative award gala. And the third objective, the third role, is to represent and promote cooperative on the main socio-economic boards. You can, as you probably know, the co-ops are normally involved in local and regional development, and they want to participate in the orientation of this development. So they ask to the regional development cooperative to represent them on different boards in the region or in the locality. So we have representation on municipal board, health board, environment, culture, economic development, etc. From my point of view, the key to success in Quebec cooperative development is that the cooperative development is done by and for cooperatives. The cooperative control the board of a regional development cooperative, and we work close with our regional partners to respond to the needs of the region. For example, at the end of the 90s, our regional partners highlighted the need for home care services. So there was a problem to provide home care services. The regional development cooperative where I was working at this moment helped to create 12 new home care services, creating more than 1,000 jobs. So you can see that it was important for the cooperative movement, creating co-ops and jobs, and it was also important for the region, answering to an important need that the people had in the region. There are, from my point of view, there are three conditions for a successful development of cooperatives, and I want to point out these three conditions. First, a close collaboration between the co-op movement and the government. We have the opportunity in the province to have a long-term collaboration, a long-term relationship, win-win relationship with the government. The government acting as facilitating an effective legislation, and the government, the cooperative movement, providing network and help to existing and new co-ops. An example of this collaboration is that since 1985 we have had agreements with the government, and this slide states the agreement of 2011-2012, which is the last one where we could get numbers. So for every year for this agreement, the government invested 4.5 million, and the cooperative movement invested about $500,000 for about 5 million in cooperative development, and those numbers does not include the indirect investment of the cooperative movement. For example, in the collaboration, in the participation in regional activities, or collaboration in starting up projects, or often we share tools with new cooperative, like a training program or lawyer advices, for example. And this agreement has been renewed for the next 2 years for about the same amount, and in a context cut governmental budget, this is a good acknowledgement of the contribution of the cooperative movement. The second condition is the access to financing and professional assistance. We have the opportunity in the province to have a quite balanced, well-balanced system between the private sector and the cooperative sector, which is helpful. And also we have access to capital, quite easy access to capital for small, medium, and large co-ops through cooperative funds, union funds, governmental funds. So we have a lot of partnership who could help to finance our development. And we also have access to professional assistance through the federations with their members, and through the regional development cooperative offering assistance to the new co-ops at their starting point. And the third condition for successful development is we have a good networking in the province. We have a sector-based network with 14 federations, and we also have a regional-based network with 11 regional development cooperatives. So from this strong networking, we could have access to a balanced fiscal system, access to capital, access to professional assistance. With the last part of my presentation, we will look further, looking to 2020, and the whole cooperative movement has ambitious development targets, as you can see. We are hoping for a 7% annual growth in sales for the co-ops, the creation of 20,000 cooperative jobs, including 5,000 in the Montreal region, which will be a good challenge. And as you can see on this slide, a good part of this job creation will come from well-established sector like the agriculture sector and the finance and insurance sector, but also from new sectors like home care services, stating here as human services, and local services is proximity cooperative for offering proximity services. I said earlier that there are important change in the network of the cooperative and of the regional development cooperative, and this spring, the Conseil québécois de la coopération et de la mutualité and the Regional Development Cooperative Federation proposed to the Regional Development Cooperative to create one regional development cooperative with regional offices. This is a huge change in what I just presented. Okay. And there will be a challenge in the mobilization of the cooperatives at the regional level. And as I said earlier, this is one of the conditions for successful cooperative development. To be sincere, if I had to take the decision, I would not take this decision. I would prefer to the conservation of the regional development cooperative, but with a reinforcement of the federation for a better efficiency. But the cooperative leaders didn't took this choice. But at least the leaders are aware of the challenge of regional mobilization, and they are ready to cope with. So we will have to wait and see. This new structure will be probably implemented next fall. So we will, as I said, look and see. So in conclusion, the Quebec our Apex organization provide a good networking. The Regional Development Cooperative Network helps take advantage and improve the potential of the cooperative movement. Regional commitment from the co-op improves socioeconomic development, and collaboration between cooperative and the government increases effectiveness of the cooperative development. So I repeat that from my point of view, the crux is that the cooperative development has to be done by and for cooperative movement, and I hope that this presentation will be a source of inspiration for future discussion in your organization. You will have access to some reference to access to more information, and I'm thanking you for listening.
한국 한살림에서 온 실무자입니다.
Hello everyone. Me and Jiyoung here is a staff from Hansalim from Korea.
앞서서 사라와
Perron.
페론이 이탈리아와 캐나다 사례를 포괄적으로 말씀해 주셨는데 저희는 한국의 한살림 생협 사례에 대해서 말씀을 드리도록 하겠습니다.
So I heard a case about Italy and Quebec from Sara and Perron, and I'm going to give you an introduction about case in Korea, Hansalim.
한살림은 생산자와 소비자 사이의 신뢰관계를 바탕으로 해서 친환경 유기농산물을 직거래하고 있는 생활협동조합입니다.
Hansalim is a cooperative managing direct transaction movement of eco-friendly organic food based on mutual trust between producer and consumer.
네, 주로 그 매장과 공급을 통해서 조합원들에게 한 1,300가지 정도의 품목을 공급하고 있는데 농산물과 가공품 그리고 생활용품, 축산물, 수산물 등이 포함되어 있습니다.
We are supplying about 1,300 of products by home delivery service and by store, and that includes livestock, agriculture, fisheries, and life supplies.
한살림이란 말은 한이라는 단어와 살림이라는 단어로 되어 있는데요. 한은 그 한국말로 전체이다, 함께이다라는 뜻이 있고, 살림은 집안의 살림살이라는 뜻도 있고, 또 생명을 살린다라는 뜻도 있는데 두 단어가 합쳐져서 모든 생명을 살리는 활동을 의미합니다.
She just exactly said what's written on this PDF file. So I'll just pass it.
저희 그 한살림은 30년 된 조직인데요. 1986년도에 설립돼서 내년이면 30년이 됩니다. 전국의 그 지역 소비자 생협이 21개가 있고 세대로 치면 50만 세대에 이르고 있고 생산자들은 105 조직으로 105개 조직으로 구성되어 있는데 세대로 치면 2,100세대가 되고 있고 이런 생산자와 소비자를 지원하는 그 연구기관과 또 출판사 그리고 교육기관이 지원 조직으로 구성되어 있고 이 세 영역은 한살림 연합이라는 조직으로 묶여져서 함께 활동하고 있습니다.
So we established in 1986. So we are heading of 30th anniversary right now, and we are consist of 21 consumers cooperative, and producers association consists of 2,000 farmers by 105 number of producers community, and we also have supporting organization of institute and press as well as the training center. So all these three sectors are consisting Hansalim Federation together.
저희가 그 하는 일은 네 가지의 사명을 실현하는 일인데 밥상과 농업과 또 지역 그리고 생명을 살려서 궁극적으로는 생명이 더불어 사는 세상을 만드는 것입니다.
So we have four main missions: save our table, local community, agriculture, and life and earth. And these four aims are aiming for to make a life-saving world, all the living things living together.
밥상을 살리는 일과 관련해서는 안전한 먹을거리를 공급하는 사업을 하고 있는 거고요. 그리고 어린이들과 조합원 시민들을 대상으로 해서 바른 식생활 교육을 실시하고 또 학교의 급식을 친환경으로 바꾼다든가 하는 그런 먹을거리 제도 개선과 관련된 활동을 전개하고 있습니다.
So for the Save Our Table mission, we are usually distributing healthy food, and we also distribute food ingredients for the school lunch, and we also do the food education toward our children.
농업살림과 관련해서는 친환경 농업이 이루어지도록 지원하는 활동을 하는데요. 한 지역의 생산지에서 생태적이고 또 물리적인 조건들이 복합적으로 이루어지는 지역 순환형 농업을 지원하고 또 생산자들과 함께 도농교를 하는 활동을 전개하고 있습니다.
So she just said things on the chart. 제가 다 안 해도 될 것 같아요.
간단하게. 네. 그리고 지역과 관련해서는 먹을거리 외에 지역의 돌봄 사업과 관련된 그런 일들도 하고 있고요. 또 지구의 생명을 살리는 활동, 또 생명평화연대 활동들도 진행을 하고 있습니다. 굿 아이디어. 네. 한국에서 한살림과 같은 생협이 이제 생겨나게 된 데는 시대적 배경이 있는데 1980년대에는 군부 독재 상황이었습니다.
Yeah. So military dictatorship regime was conquering Korean government in 1980s.
억압적인 상황에서 삶의 질과 민주주의가 파괴되고 있을 때 노동운동, 또 이제 여성운동, 여러 가지 환경운동, 인권운동들이 생겨났고 이때 뭔가 사회 변화를 위해서 시민들이 변화해야 된다, 참여해야 된다라는 사회의식이 생겨났고 그것이 기본적으로는 한살림운동의 의식적 바탕이 되었다고 생각합니다.
So under this oppressive situation, there were lots of movements for pro-democracy, labor right, women's emancipation, and human rights. So all the ideology about the people's emancipation was getting a rise those days, and I believe that this kind of thought became the foundation of the Hansalim movement.
그리고 또 하나는 산업화의 확장이었는데요. 1980년대 한국은 개발도상 국가에 속했고 경제성장 중심의 산업화가 진행이 되면서 대량 생산과 소비가 이루어졌고 그래서 환경 문제라든가 농업 문제 또 사회적 양극화 문제들이 발생을 했습니다.
Yes, and Korea was underdeveloped country at